Now, tools needed for the job: you're going to need a drill, of course, tape measure, a level, drills, socket set, Allen key bits, 221 sicker, which you can pick up from Bunnings, some primer, which you can also pick up from Bunnings, 17mm spanner, 13mm spanner, and that's about it for the tools you will need. Now, after removing the trim, you'll have to remove this nut here, because this holds a bump stop on the other side, and it's one of the anchor points we use for the wheel carrier. Okay, so I've removed the bump stop from the van. I use this as my starting point. I actually connect the wheel carrier to this point first and line it all up to get it in the right position. Now, one of the brackets to install is this one here. This one. It needs to use this hole, which is one of the trim studs. This hole, and there's not a hole over this side, so we have to mark that and drill it. Now, the easiest way to do that is to use this bracket you have that needs installing, this one, and line it up like so on those two holes. One there, the one in the middle. Mark that one so you can drill it, so the bracket will be connected there when you're finished. Now, this bracket goes inside the door skin in here, so it sits down on this support panel here, bolted here in those three holes, and then you will drill through the other side to connect it in. The hole that I have to drill now, with an 8mm drill bit, I will drill this hole, and we'll get this bracket just here, and this bracket then slides in here like so, and you must force it in behind this panel here, so that will give you two mounting points at the back to be able to connect the rest of the wheel carrier onto it. I'll insert that now. Now, I've got the bracket installed, as you can see, like so. The holes line up with here, here, and here. So I'll insert the bolts, nuts and washers into that now. Okay, now I've got the wheel carrier on the vehicle. I've used the existing hole that was already there from the bump stop, and I've bolted that one in alone to hold it in place. Now, on the inside, you can see there's this spacer, this backing plate here that's in place to hold it in. Now, what you've got to do is to line it up perfectly, is you have to get a measurement from here to the edge of the door, which is 30mm, and you must match this on the other side at 30mm. This will give you these two bolt holes here to line up with the inner backing plate. And now, with a 10mm drill bit, I will now drill this hole here and this hole here so that it lines up with the bracket on the inside, hopefully. Okay, we got those holes lined up where they need to be, and they correspond with the holes that are inside on the bracket, which you can see just here, one there and one there. So now I know they're in the right place. I can drill, mark the existing holes that are left, which are here, 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 this one, and the bottom two, which are here. So I'll do that now. All the holes, as you can see, they're all marked. I can now remove this, drill all the holes, and then I can prime all the holes so there's no chance of any rust down the track. And then I will go from there. Now, just to protect the body, I've covered the bottom part with plastic, just so that no metal filings will get onto the body and rust it out. Now we will drill these holes at 10mm. And now with the primer, which like I said you can get from Bunnings, I will prime all the holes that I've just drilled to prevent any rust from happening. I'll do that now and I'll show you afterwards. Okay, so all the holes now are primed, so there's no chance of any rust. And now what I will do is get ready to mount the wheel carrier again. But this time the wheel carrier you will use Sika 221, which I said before you can get from Bunnings, and you must Sika behind every one of these plates so you get a good waterproof seal on the van. And you also do the same with these backing plates that you're given. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 backing plates. So you do the same with them. You put Sikaflex on the back of each one of those plates before you mount it in place. Now you will need an extra pair of hands for this, so it's a good idea to call someone. As you can see, I've applied the Sikaflex to each of the outside mounting points. Now we'll install this to the vehicle. Now the wheel carrier is on the vehicle. Now I'll go through to the inside and put the backing plates in place. Now the first one I'm going to start with is up here. So I'll get this plate, coat it with Sikaflex, and then install it in there. So the first one's in place. I haven't tightened it yet. I've also slid all the other bolts in place, just so I know that everything is aligned. Don't go tightening anything up until you make sure they're all in and set in properly. Now we go to the inside, and we will start with these two, which are just in the support bracket on the inside. We'll start with them, get them tight, and this top one tight, and then we can work on the other bolts. The most difficult one to get to is up inside this panel. You can just see it just up here, but we'll get to that in a minute. Now this bracket here is a little tricky. You must push it behind this inner panel, and to get to this bolt here you must remove this plastic trim. This plastic trim gets removed from there so you can get to that bolt in there. Okay, now we'll tighten them ones up. Now you've got to get this plate which is here, and that goes up in there. Where's a bolt just sitting up in there that we've got to grab now. So we'll get this one on. Now the last and final bracket is this one right here, and it sits up underneath here to the contour of that support panel. And make sure you put Sikaflex again on the back of this, again just to give it extra bonding. Now after installation, of course, you're going to have to clean up the excess Sika that's come out from tightening up the brackets. I'll just clean that up now and then I'll show you the finished product. And this is the finished product. What I've got to do now is install the internal trim.